Welcome, chatters. How are we all doing? Welcome on in, all you beautiful people today. We are back on this Friday night, almost Saturday morning, for a freaking super late DGen live stream, doing some more Lies of P gameplay. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Hopefully you guys had a smooth and easy week, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your weekend. I apologize for being late, but I will explain everything once we swap screens here. So let's go ahead and do that, shall we, chat? Hello, chat. How are we all doing on this fine Friday night? Um, it is, holy cow, it is almost 11 p.m. in my local time zone. Very fucking late. I do sincerely apologize for the delay. I'll explain what happened, and I'll explain everything, of like, you know, what's been going on this past week. I mean, to be honest, for those of you who follow my streams, who watch me, every so often, right, you will know that I did a live stream on Wednesday, right? So I did a live stream basically like 2 days ago, maybe less than 2 days ago, on Wednesday night, and I had a fun time. It was a great stream. We didn't do a whole lot on Wednesday. We basically just did one boss fight, and that was all. But I still had a very enjoyable time, and I was glad to see you guys. Between Wednesday and today, there hasn't really been too much that I can update you guys on. Really, there hasn't been a lot that you know, has happened, right? I think, you know, Thursday was a pretty standard regular day. Nothing new, nothing interesting, nothing worth sharing, right? So I think we're going to skip ahead to today, and we're going to talk about, you know, basically how my Friday went and why the hell am I so late, right? So, first and foremost, okay, my Friday was a little bit rough because, on Thursday, right? So Thursday night, I think, like, I kind of goofed off a little bit on Thursday. You know, I kind of was just like enjoying playing video games and watching things, you know, just the usual stuff that I like to do, right? I did have a homework assignment that was due on Thursday, which I did complete, but one of the things that I struggled to do, I could not motivate myself to get this done, was I had basically I had some homework that was due on Wednesday, right? So I had some homework that was due on Wednesday. I did not turn in that homework. I you know, was completely late to submitting the homework, and I needed to do it, and I needed to submit it, you know, before it was too late, right? So, you know, on Thursday night, I was like, okay, I'm going to work on this, you know, late homework that I should have turned in yesterday, but I'm going to do it tonight. And let me tell you something, chat. It was just like so annoying to deal with because, you know, during the nighttime, I feel like, to me, the nighttime is like that is the perfect gaming time, right? Like I feel like when it's nighttime in the world, I want to be playing video games. I want to be watching, you know, YouTube or Twitch, or maybe even watching anime, right? I want to be enjoying my hobbies, because during the daytime, I don't get to do that, right? During the daytime, I'm preoccupied with other bullshit that I hate, that you know, to me, I feel like it's a waste of time. I feel like it's just not fun, you know? So, while I am trying to do this Japanese homework that I did not submit the day before, I was constantly getting distracted. I was constantly, you know, checking YouTube, checking Twitch, whatever, and I was, like, not paying attention to the Japanese stuff, right? And basically, I had, so I had I had a workbook page, and then I had a second workbook page. There was like a tiny little section of the workbook page that was like bundled together, right? So I would say, if you were to, you know, add it all together, maybe about 1.25 of a workbook page, right? So 1.25, 1.25 of a workbook page, that was homework that was late. I should have turned it in the day before, right? Then I also had another piece of homework, which was it's this one right here, this thing. So this right here is a kanji worksheet where you are supposed to basically learn the meaning of different kanji characters in Japanese, and you're supposed to write down different details, such as what is the definition of the kanji, what is the radical of the kanji. And the radical of the kanji, for those of you who don't really understand what that means, in Japanese, right, there are thousands of kanji, right? Thousands. And many kanji, they have parts of the kanji that are similar to other kanji, right? Like, different kanji use the same, like, shapes, right? Imagine, like, for example, in English, right? You have different words, and different words use the same letters, right? There's the letter A in word number 1, there's the letter A in word number 2. So the radical is almost like an English alphabetical letter that is a part of multiple different kanji, right? And are similar. I'll give you a very quick example here, right? I hope that it'll show up on my camera. But let me see. These two kanji, you see where my fingers are pointing here, these two kanji, they have the same radical, which means heart. It is, in Japanese, it's pronounced kokoro, right? And so you see how I, like, circled this bottom part of each kanji? That is the radical, right? So both of these two kanji use the radical kokoro, which means heart in Japanese. And so you have to, like, write down what is the radical, what is the meaning of the radical, right? Then you have to, you know, in, like, kind of like the middle of the page, right? And on this side, right? There's basically, like, Japanese words that use this kanji, right? Because the kanji, they are Japanese letters, right? And so when you put them together with other letters, they spell out a word. And so over here in the middle and on the side, there's these Japanese words that you have to, you know, basically you have to figure out what is the definition of it. Not only that, but you also have to, you know, since it's written in kanji, you have to write what it would sound like if you were to write it purely in hiragana, right? So yeah, essentially this worksheet, it's kind of like creating your own paper version of a dictionary, right? And so you can take this worksheet and you can, you know, basically, yeah, you can refer to this worksheet if you need to, right? So that's like the purpose of this thing. And I will say that, like, okay, the first part of this assignment, not really that complicated. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's not really that annoying. The biggest problem that I have with this assignment that I really, really like, this is, I would probably say, the worst thing about Japanese language, is on the last page here. This page is specifically designed for practicing your handwriting and writing the kanji by hand over and over and over again, right? And as you can see here, I've done, you know, my practice of this kanji. And for the purposes of my class, we only have to write each kanji 4 times. I say only, right? But we don't have to fill out the entire, like, worksheet. We only have to write each one 4 times. And yeah, let me tell you something. I've been taking Japanese classes for a little while now. I'm not an expert in Japanese, nor am I a beginner. I'm kind of like intermediate a little bit. And I do think that handwriting kanji is probably the most garbage, shitty experience that you could have in Japanese. I hate handwriting kanji. It's so bad. And, you know, you think about it, you know, you think about it in this day and age, right? The modern day and age, we have technology, right? We have computers, we have phones, right? We have laptops, right? We have all of this amazing technology that allows us to do things virtually and remotely. And so there's not really a necessity to handwrite languages, whether it's English, whether it's Japanese, whether it's Spanish, whether it's French, right? Any language, you don't have to handwrite it. You can just type it on a computer, on a phone, on a laptop, anything, right? And so, yeah, handwriting Japanese is, oh my god, it is a nightmare for me, right? So that's the homework that I had, which was due on Wednesday night, and I had not submitted it. I didn't turn it in yet. Then, on Thursday, I had one more workbook page that was due on Thursday night. So I was like, okay, I am going to focus, or sorry, not Thursday night, it was due on Friday, like, basically midday Friday, before my class, right? So on Thursday night, I was like, okay, I'm just going to do all of it at once, right? And because I hate the handwriting Japanese homework so much, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to leave that for the very last. And so I spent my time working on the workbook pages. And unfortunately, the workbook pages were not a lot of fun. They were very time consuming and very annoying because basically what you have to do is you have to essentially go to, you know, Google Translate or another resource that will translate languages for you, and you have to type in the English sentence that you want to translate to Japanese, and then you have to take that and you have to handwrite it in the workbook, right? And it's just it's bad, right? It's a nightmare. So long story short, what ended up happening is I think I stayed up until about 6 a.m., 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. I stayed up all night long, and the only things that I got done were the workbook pages. I got done with every workbook page that I needed to do, which was basically 2 and like a quarter workbook pages that I needed to complete. And this assignment here that I have in my hand, the kanji, you know, handwriting practice stuff, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna turn it in 2 days late. I don't care. Like, I can't be bothered. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I went to my Japanese class. I was very sleep deprived. I was like, you know, working off of 4 hours of sleep or whatever. Went to my Japanese class, and then, you know, after my Japanese class was over, I came back home. And I spent my time working on this assignment, you know, finishing it up and wanting to turn it in. And, you know, I was working on this assignment. I was also, you know, multitasking, getting distracted with YouTube and Twitch and video games and all that stuff, right? And so I think I finished this stupid kanji assignment probably at around, I want to say at around 6 or 7 p.m. in the evening. It took me an ungodly amount of time that I was not happy about. I hate the fact that it dragged on for this long. And I'm glad that this assignment is over with, but my God, what a waste of time it was. So, you know, I did that. And so after I got done with my homework, right, I was like, okay, now, if I wanted to, I could go live and stream. However, it was around the time of dinner, and, you know, my family, right, they're home. At least one of my family members is. And so, you know, we had to figure out what are we going to do for dinner. And the thing is that, like, a lot of the time, so most of the time, I would say, like, once a week, every Friday, I usually like to go to McDonald's because they have a deal every Friday where you get like a free package of fries with whatever order that you buy, right? So I was like, okay, I can grab some McDonald's for myself, but what about my family, right? Well, it turns out that basically my family, they had cooked some like burger patties, right, that we had bought from a grocery store, and they had cooked like some other ingredients that would go on the burger patties. So, you know, my family was busy doing that, and basically earlier like in the morning today or whatever, midday, I spoke with, you know, my family, and basically what happened is I got an email, you know, one of those like promotional emails from Krispy Kreme. It's a donut shop, right? And they were like, hey, today is National Donut Day. Come and celebrate. Come and get a free donut, and then you can also take advantage of this like promotional deal that they were doing. So, you know, I messaged my family because I was like, you know, maybe they want donuts. I don't know. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they're like, no, that's a waste of money. And I messaged them because I remember that, like, I think earlier this past week or the week before or whatever, basically my family, they were talking to me and they brought up this like fact. They were like, oh yeah, I, you know, heard about this National Donut Day that's going to be happening soon, right? So I messaged my family. I was like, should we go and buy donuts, right? And, you know, eventually, yeah, my family, they were like, okay, let's buy donuts, I guess. Why not? So I had to go and drive over to the donut shop, and I had to grab the donuts. The really sucky thing about, you know, the donut shop is that I really like the donut shop, but in the city where I live, it is like there are none. There are no locations in my city. I have to go and drive to a neighboring city, which is about 15 to 20 minutes away, in order to get the donuts, right? So I went to go get the donuts, and then I stopped by a grocery store because my family, they were like, hey, there's going to be like a heat advisory this upcoming week. It's going to be like, you know, maybe Sunday, Monday, Tuesday or whatever. There's going to be like high temperatures, right? It's going to be hot. So my family, they were like, what if we, you know, bought some ice cream to prepare for that hot weather? And yeah, they kind of like gave me the task of going shopping and grabbing the ice cream that was on sale, right? So I stopped by a grocery store, bought some ice cream, came back home, and before I, like, you know, came back home and parked my car and everything, I also stopped by McDonald's to, you know, take advantage of that Friday deal that they have. So I had McDonald's, I had, you know, a crap ton of donuts that we bought, and I also had some ice cream, right? So I came home with a lot of like dessert stuff and junk food. So I came back home, you know, not long after I arrived back home, basically my family, they had finished cooking dinner. So, you know, we sat down and we ate some food. And I would say that was probably about maybe like 9:30 p.m. leading up to like 10 p.m. is when we ate dinner, which was like absolutely crazy to me. I was not paying attention to the time, and I did not realize how fucking late it was. But I finished my dinner, and then I came to my room, and I was like, okay, I can stream if I want to. But the thing is that because the entire day I was, you know, kind of focused on this like garbage homework, and then I was also kind of like running around, you know, driving places and whatever, I didn't get a chance to like log into Genshin or Wuthering Waves or any of the like gacha games that I normally play. So I was like, well, fuck, I need to do that shit before I stream. So I quickly logged into Genshin. I did my dailies in that game. I logged out. I logged into Wuthering Waves, did my dailies, logged out of the game. And yeah, basically by the time that I had finished everything, it was fucking 11 p.m. at night, which is shit. Like, I don't think I've started a stream this late in a good while. I think, like, a lot of the time recently, my streams have been at the very latest, like, 9 p.m. or 9:30 p.m. But yeah, 11 p.m. is absolutely, like, degen hours, and it's not good. But yeah, I mean, we made it. We're here. It's been a not very fun week, but I'm surviving. You know, I'm still alive, so that counts for something. And I hope you guys had a good week yourselves out there. But yeah. Let's see here. What's going on, Modified? Welcome on in. What's up, Jen? You must be excited about this DLC. I kid you not, Jen. I was fucking absolutely blown away. I was shocked about what happened because the only thing that I'd heard about, right? So I knew that the DLC was going to be releasing sometime in the summer, right? And the only thing that I had heard is that basically there was a chance during this like Summer Games Festival event, there was a chance that a brand new trailer would drop for the DLC. Like there would be something that would be used to like hype up the audience, right? And kind of like this this announcement where it's like, hey guys, the official release date for the DLC is going to be this date, right? That was like what I was expecting to happen, where they were going to announce the day when the DLC would be available, and they'd maybe, you know, showcase a trailer for the DLC. All of a sudden, like, I remember, so what I was doing is, like, I was sitting at my computer. It was about maybe 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. or something like that. And, you know, I was kind of browsing YouTube and browsing Twitch, seeing if there's something entertaining that I could watch. And, you know, I refresh my YouTube recommended page, and there's a brand new upload, a brand new video from the Lives of P YouTube account. And, you know, I'm like, huh, this is weird, because the upload that they put on their channel was an announcement trailer, like a channel or like a game trailer, right? And I was a little bit confused because I was like, we already have multiple trailers for the DLC that released months ago, right? So I was like, why are they releasing something new? So then I clicked on the video and I watched it. It was about maybe, I don't know, 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long, maximum. So I watched the video, and at the very end of the video, I saw the news where it said, DLC now available. And I was like, are you kidding me? Holy shit. Like, this is, so I think, you know, a lot of people in the gaming community, when something like this happens, they call it, I think they call it a shadow drop, right? Where the developers don't really, you know, they don't really go out of their way to do like a huge advertising and marketing campaign where they like hype it up for weeks beforehand or whatever, right? A shadow drop is where the devs kind of just choose to be like, you know, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, randomly, they're like, hey, internet, it's now available. Go wild, right? And I was so surprised. I was like, holy shit. And so after I saw the YouTube video, I immediately went into my Steam, and I was like, let me look at the DLC. And I clicked on it, and sure enough, it was there. Purchase now. I was like, oh my god, like, this is wild. And so, for those of you out there who maybe have not really been following along with my journey with this game, with Lies of P, right? Right now, we are currently on New Game Plus 2, right? And what we are attempting to do is we are attempting to beat New Game Plus 2, and also simultaneously, we are attempting to get 100% Steam achievements on the game, right? On Wednesday, I did a live stream, and I beat the, basically the second to last boss of the game that we need to beat, right? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, pause the stream there. I'm gonna, you know, come back on Friday, and I'm gonna do the final boss of the game on Friday, right? So, essentially, before the DLC was officially released today, I had made a plan where today I was going to go live, I was going to finish New Game Plus 2, and I was going to get 100% Steam achievements. So, in other words, the release timing of this DLC is absolutely perfect, because I can immediately finish New Game Plus 2, go into New Game Plus 3, and jump into the DLC. Like, maybe not right away, but like during my New Game Plus 3 playthrough, which is going to be absolutely incredible. That is going to be awesome. And it's really funny because, you know, a little while back, a wonderful, amazing streamer friend of mine by the name of Yvain Domain, he asked me the question. He was like, yo, Cappy, after Lies of P, what are you going to play? You know, because back then, we didn't know when the DLC was going to be dropping, right? And I responded to him, and I was like, I have no idea. I honestly don't know what I'm going to play. I'll pick something from my Steam list, and we'll, you know, try out some other random game that I need to experience, right? And so, like, these past couple of days, especially yesterday and, like, Wednesday night, I was kind of thinking in my head, I was formulating, okay, I need to decide what is going to be the next game that I play after finishing New Game Plus 2, so that I have something to stream on Friday, Saturday, Sunday of this weekend, right? And I actually put together a list of games that I think I'm going to stream, you know, kind of like in sequential order. And like my plan was basically after we finish New Game Plus 2, I was going to start at game number 1 on the list and then go, you know, play that game and then go down the list, you know, and that would be like my game plan, my blueprint for what games I'm going to be streaming on my channel in the like near future, right? And yeah, so like when this Overture DLC dropped, I was like, holy shit, the timing of this. Because what I could do if I wanted to is I could finish New Game Plus 2 and take a break from Lies of P, go and play something else, and then I could come back and play the DLC at a later time. But I don't know, maybe this is hype enough for me to want to be able to like jump straight into the DLC now that it's officially released, right? So yeah, this absolutely, you know, it is a significant major event happening today, which I was very caught off guard by, very caught off guard. But I am very excited. I'm very happy about the release of the DLC, 100%. Yeah. Anyways, Jen, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you. Hope you're doing well out there. I'm pretty sure you probably have to go to sleep and get some rest. Please do so. Please, you know, take care of yourselves. Eat some good food, drink some water, all that stuff, right? Take care of yourself. But yeah, let's see. What level Japanese am I? I would say I'm not beginner level. I'm kind of like intermediate level is what I would describe myself as. But like, okay, if you have like a spectrum of Japanese from like beginner all the way to like fluent, right? I am more, I'm like intermediate, but like more leaning towards beginner intermediate, right? Not really like intermediate or intermediate getting closer to fluent. It's like I'm more beginner intermediate is what I would describe myself as. Yeah, I don't think my level of Japanese is that impressive, to be completely honest, but yeah. Only know how to say watashi wa kuma desu? Yeah. That is a very like simplistic Japanese phrase, and for your, you know, channel, for your, you know, personality and whatever, it makes a lot of sense, right? But yeah. Yo, what's going on, Zaku? How's it going, homie? I'm gonna call you Zaku because I don't know how you feel about, you know, people calling you by your real name on Twitch, so I'm gonna call you Zaku. But I appreciate you, homie. I hope you're doing well. I saw that you were streaming Expedition 33 recently. Whenever I'm able to, I try to stop by and I try to lurk a little bit. But yeah, man, I appreciate you stopping by. I hope you and Eddie are doing well. Zaku, someday, like you, me, Eddie, all of us in our group, we gotta get together and hang out, grab some food, stuff like that. Are you going to PAX West, Zaku? If you are, then that is absolutely going to be a great time for us to hang out, you know? Let's see. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Zaku, absolutely. Yeah, man, you like, I want to hear, you know, I want to hear all about your experiences with Expedition 33, because I know that game is, like, incredible, right? I know that people out there love that game, and they speak very highly of it. So I'm very curious to know, you know, basically what you think about the journey, you know, your progression through the game, because everything that I've heard from everyone about Expedition 33, it's positive. There's not a single, like, you know, negative thing that has tarnished the reputation of Expedition 33, right? Didn't know you're taking Japanese. I am taking Japanese, Zaku. I have been taking it for I would say roughly about a year or about like a year and a half now. Um, I'm gonna be honest, like, no matter how long I study Japanese, I do not think that I will ever get comfortable by saying that I can speak Japanese. Like, I would always say that my level of Japanese is similar to like the level of a baby, like a toddler, you know, a kindergartner. I am not at all experienced in Japanese language. I know how to say, you know, a couple phrases, couple sentences here and there, but yeah, my level of Japanese is not impressive. Yeah. You screamed when you saw the trailer? You got so excited? Yeah, modified. So, Osito, when the trailer dropped, I remember thinking in my head, you know, I saw the announcement, I was like, oh my god, Osito is gonna be so happy about this, right? Like, I immediately thought to myself, I was like, Osito is going to love, the announcement for the DLC. Like, this is gonna be amazing. Yeah. And I'm sure that you're very, very excited about Lies of P DLC. Can you tell us something in Japanese? Let me see. Okay, so what I can do is I can give you like, so this is a very, very like traditional, very normal greeting, right? In Japanese. And you might, when you hear this, if you watch like anime, for example, and you watch it in Japanese, you might recognize some of these words. But basically the traditional Japanese kind of greeting when you meet someone is, you know, you would say something like, hajimemashite, watashi no namae wa Capybara-san, yoroshiku onegaishimasu, right? And that's basically saying, hello there, nice to meet you, my name is Capybara, I look forward to working with you, right? I look forward to basically being acquainted with you, right? Is what that translates to in English. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know, like, what is is there like a standard greeting in Spanish? Because the only thing that I remember is like, hola, me llamo Capybara. Yo soy, uh, what else? Like, yo soy estúpido. I don't even know, like, usually you would say something like, oh, I'm this years old or whatever. Like, I am like a student, for example. Like, hola, me llamo Capybara. Ahora estoy estudiando español un poco, pero es muy difícil. Yeah, and then you would say something like, oh, how would you say? Yeah, I don't really know how you would say nice to meet you in Spanish. Yeah. Expedition 33 is the best. You were very happy? Yeah. Capybara Senpai? Yeah. You said it very well? Okay. Let's see, Zaku said, don't care, feel free to go by your IRL name. Okay. Yeah, so, Zaku, I know that you mentioned, you know, you don't mind and whatever. This is something that you may not know about me. I don't know. We may not have touched upon this subject when we talked, like, IRL, but, normally speaking, like, on Twitch, there are things that I am a little bit like protective about, where I kind of value my own privacy, and I value, like, you know, the privacy of people around me, you know, such as my friends and my family, right? So a lot of the time whenever I speak about friends or family, I try to keep them a little bit anonymous, just to, you know, for their safety, for their privacy, you know, just to be considerate. So I'll probably just keep calling you Zaku. I hope you don't mind. But yeah. Been too long? We need to catch up. Yeah, absolutely we do. As far as PAX goes, you're only going one day. Okay. Yeah, that's very fair. Like, so, yeah, Zaku, I don't remember if we talked about PAX, like, during previous years, but, one thing that I've always said about PAX, you know, I've given this thought to many of my friends who have asked me about it, is that, like, I remember whenever I went to PAX I think I went in, like, 2023, maybe, and then also in 2024, but I remember very, you know, vividly that I had this realization where I was like, you know, PAX West, it happens for a length of 4 days, right? From, like, Friday all the way to Monday, I think it was. And I felt like by the second day, I was essentially done with everything. Like, I did not have anything that I wanted to do more at PAX West. So it felt like 4 days was a little bit too long. And I was like, you know, I don't really need to attend PAX on these other days, right? Like, I can just, you know, I can just stay home if I want to. But I kind of just felt obligated to go all 4 days, you know, just because I got the ticket for all 4 days, right? But yeah, no, I don't feel like PAX West is something that you need to be there for like 3 days, 4 days, or maybe not even like 2 days, right? I think one day is a good amount of time to go and explore. So yeah, I hope to hang out and you know chat with you and whatnot at the one day that you're going. That'll be awesome. But regardless, I hope you enjoy the one day of PAX that you end up attending. You know, let's see. Encantando de conocerte o un gusto en conocerte. That means nice to meet you. Un gusto en conocerte. Oh, interesting. I know conocer is like to know something, right? Like yo conozco is like I know. So then conocerte is like to know you. Okay, okay. Interesting. Encantando. Encantando. I swear I know what encantar means. Encantar is like wait a second. Encantar is like love, right? Like for example, in español, right? Um esta wait, is it esta or is it este? Esta? Este? Um uh I think it's a la canción, right? Um so it's like you could say me encanto esta canción if it is la canción. It might be el canción. I keep forgetting about that. Encantado. 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 But is that the same thing as me encanto? It's not, right? It's slightly different. Because like you would say me gusta or me encanto as like I love, right? I like and I love a certain thing, and then encantado is probably something completely different. Es diferente. Creo que sí. Hola, me llamo Cito. Un gusto o gusto en conocerte. En conocerte. En conocerte. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. So like, yeah, for you, you would say, me encanta la of P. Yeah. Like that. That's grammatically correct. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I don't ever remember if like we did formal introductions during Spanish class. I think basically all we did was like, you know, we said yeah, we just said like hola me llamo capybara, blah 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 blah, right? And that was it. I don't think we went beyond that, but yeah. Yeah, the one thing that like I've always struggled to learn about this and understand the difference is like the difference between conocer and ser, right? Because you could say like yo conozco or you could say yo sé, like yo sé, yo no sé. Um, so it's like the difference between yo sé or yo conozco. I feel like it's just it's something that I don't quite yet understand the difference between the two. Um, yeah, and then like on top of conocer and ser, you also have the third one, which is rather than being like I know, it's instead I understand, which is entiendo, yo entiendo. Yeah, which is like I understand what you are attempting to speak or what you're attempting to explain, right? Yeah. That's the thing that has always confused me in Spanish. I could never grasp that. Yeah. Very, very tough. But yeah, anyways, chat. Anyways, we should probably dive on into the game, should we? This is gonna be freaking exciting. I cannot wait for this. Let me actually see here. Additional content. There are no benefits to claim. Okay. Alright, load. Legendary Stalker. Ooh, yeah, so they introduced the difficulty levels here. The standard difficulty for players who enjoy tense action games. You can experience the story while enjoying challenging combat. A very easy difficulty for players who want a story-focused experience. You can experience the story without being impeded by combat. An easy difficulty for players who enjoy light-hearted action games. You can experience the story with lighter combat challenge. No. Legendary Stalker. All the way. 100%. 100% chat. We don't do any of this easy stuff, right? No, we don't mess around with that. Alright, come on, game. I believe in you. Ooh, ooh, boss rematch. Through the Stargazer in Hotel Krat, you can relive battles against the bosses in your memories. A specific boss can be selected and challenged in battle memories, or multiple bosses can be selected and challenged consecutively in Death March. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible, chat. So, for those of you who aren't very familiar with Souls games, Souls-like games, you know, this genre, there is only one other Souls game that has this feature, and that is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. None of the other Souls games have a boss fight, a boss rematch mechanic. You cannot go and fight old bosses that you've already defeated. You can't. Which is like, honestly, a really dumb thing that Souls games don't have it. I think it's really ridiculous. So the fact that Lies of P is taking a page out of the book of Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice is incredible. This is fucking amazing. I love this a lot, and thank you to the developers. This is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful. Holy shit. Let me take a look here. Boss rematch. Bosses and battle memories each have their own unique stats. Defeating a boss will allow you to fight against the same boss at a higher difficulty. The mode's difficulty is fixed at Legendary Stalker. Oh, they have a ranking system. Wow. Wow. Oh, this is beautiful, chat. Es muy bonito. Me encanto. Me encanto mucho. Oh my god, this is amazing. You can fight Romeo again? True. Why are there 2 levels locked? I think... So, level 3, right? Level 3. I think that one is, like, default difficulty, right? Legendary Stalker, default difficulty. Level 4 and level 5, those are even more harder, even more difficult, right? Probably more health, more HP for the bosses, and they probably are stronger. They hit you harder. That's what I'm guessing. Oh, this is beautiful, chat. Oh, this is so good. I just want to test this. I want to try. This seems so good. God, this is... I feel like I am in heaven right now. Oh. Oh. Don't lag on me, game. Make sure everything's stable. Okay. Oh, interesting. You go in with no Fable. Ooh. Okay. Okay. I see what's going on. Carcasses. Ooh, I have Flamberge. I don't need to know this. Oh, they fucked it up. Oh, that's what they did. Yeah, they fucked it up. Oh. Okay. 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 Not bad. Not bad. 4 minutes, 51 seconds. Okay, okay. I'll take that. Adios, amigo. It was nice knowing you. Alright. I need to do something very quickly. Give me a second, chat. Controller. No. This one I need to change. Yeah, that was confusing the hell out of me last time. There we go. Alright. That was not bad. That was pretty damn good, chat. Pretty damn good. Level 4 and level 5. I wonder how difficult each one is going to be. I'm very curious. King of Puppets level 4 and then level 5. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know if I want to do it. I kind of want to. There's a part of me that wants to, but I don't know. I don't know, chat. I do not know. We'll do it. We'll do it just because difficulty 3 was a complete mess. You know, for those of you who did not understand what was happening. So apparently, with the brand new update that happened for Lies of P, you know, since the DLC came out. By the way, just to clarify, I do not have the DLC currently purchased. I don't have it installed on my account. This is only the base game. But when the DLC came out, the base game was updated, right? And what happened was it basically reset all of the settings back to default. And because of that, I had some keybinds on my controller that were customized, that were swapped, and it reverted it back to the default setting, which absolutely confused the hell out of me. Like I was completely lost because, you know, my muscle memory was not working as I remembered it to be working, right? Yeah, but this should be much better here. Okay. Let's try it again. Oh, I thought I blocked that. Okay. Yeah, that was really bad timing. Yeah. Yeah. I made some really dumb mistakes there. Honestly, what I should have done for that, you know, big jump that he did is I should have just dodged it rather than trying to, you know, parry it. But, oh well, it's good practice. It is good practice. That was delayed a little bit. Okay, interesting. Okay. Okay. There we go.
I have to kill you to stop it all. There's no other way. It's all going up in flames. Bright, white flames.
That's fair. Nice. Good.
It's all going up in flames. Bright, white flames. I'm burning up.
Fair. Good.
Baby, this is what real freedom feels
There
like.
we go.
Thank you,
Much cleaner.
Carlo.
Much cleaner. New record, 5 minutes 34 seconds. Okay. Reward Badge of Victory, Romeo King of Puppets. Ooh. You get a badge. Okay. Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. Alright, alright. Not too bad at all. Not too shabby. Hmm. Fuck it. Why not? You know, I should probably use Pandemonium a lot more. Okay. Ooh, okay. Yeah, this guy is very dangerous. Okay, okay. I think that was my first death to a battle memory. Wow. That's pretty dangerous. That is pretty dangerous. Okay. All right. I see what we need to do now. I thought I blocked that. Oh, I thought I blocked that? Okay. Did I just get knocked back? What the hell? Ooh, spin around, okay. Nice swing. Nice swing. There we go.
I have to kill you to stop it all. There's no other way. It's all going up in flames. Bright, white flames.
Wow, okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting, okay. So my timing on that was just like, I think some of my timings were just maybe a little bit too late or a little bit too early. Interesting, okay, okay. This is a good challenge, I like this. Wow, oh, interesting. My roll was too late there. Okay. Nice. Wow, okay, that hits. Interesting. Alright, alright. Wow, okay. Okay.
I have to kill you to stop it all. There's no other way. I'm burning up.
Hey, that's fair. That slash is really annoying. Oh, wow. Okay. 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 Interesting. Wow. That is cool. That is really cool. So, yeah, very interesting. I think I just didn't press the block button fast enough. Either I did, and maybe, like, you know, even though I was blocking, he still took a good chunk of my HP away. That could be it. I thought I'd block that. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Hmm. Oh. Okay. I think I realized what is happening, chat. I think so. Um. Yeah. I think I know what's happening. There is a there's an amulet that exists in the game, and the amulet, it allows you to dodge fury attacks. I don't have it equipped currently. I currently do not have it on me. I thought I dodged that. Why did I not dodge? There we go.
I have to kill you to stop it all. There's no other way. It's all going up in flames. Bright, white flames.
Wow. Too fast.
It's all going up in flames. Bright, white flames. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I'll always be
Okay.
with you.
Okay. Yeah, that's tough. Okay, that is really tough. All right. So, the very interesting thing about that difficulty is I think that difficulty requires basically every single resource that I have. Yeah, that is one hell of a tough difficulty. Okay, get rid of that weapon. We're gonna try my favorite weapon, the one that we used basically all throughout our first, main playthrough. Close. There we go.
I have to kill you to stop it all. There's no other way.
Okay.
I'm burning up.
Okay.
It's all going up in flames. Bright, white flames. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, that's what I hated about that, yeah. Okay. All right. So, yep, I know that strategy. Okay. This is actually a challenge. This is basically reminding me, chat. Um, it reminds me of, like, essentially, you know, when I what's it called? When I fought Romeo on base game with like barely any upgrades, right? This is what it reminded me of. All right, let's see here. So let's go. Breed. Breed. Interesting. Okay, okay. Alright, interesting. Okay. Yeah, the timing of that was off. Alright, alright. We got this, chat. We can do this. Okay. I thought I blocked that. I did not realize I missed. That's a nasty combo to do. Good. Okay. Ooh, good one. Oh, okay. All right. I keep on forgetting that. I keep on forgetting that, and it's really annoying. All right. I have an idea. Huh. I think, honestly, I've just gotten so used to playing without it that, you know, it does not really, register for me. Alright, I'm taking that one out because I don't think that you get any ergo from doing this anyways. And we're gonna go for... Where is it? Give me that one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we should be doing much better. Ow, I fucking pressed the attack button way too many times there. Nope, too early. I'm losing focus is what I'm doing. I'm just losing focus and, like, mistiming things. There we go.
I have to kill you to stop it all. There's no other way. It's all going up in flames. Bright, white flames.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one of the reasons why, you know, chat, I think this weapon is not a bad weapon, right? I think this weapon is quite nice. The only problem with this weapon is that swinging it around, it takes a long time to swing it around. It's not an easy weapon to swing around, and the timing of your attacks and whatever can easily get fucked up. I thought I blocked that. Okay. I thought I dodged that. Good. Okay. There we go.
I have to kill you to stop it all. There's no other way. It's all going up in flames. Bright, white flames.
Okay.
Burning up.
Okay. I blocked that.
It's all going up in flames. Bright,
There
white
we go.
flames.
Okay. Okay. There we go.
Maybe this is
There
what
we
real
go.
freedom
Holy
feels like.
moly.
Thank you, Carlo.
What a fight, chat. What a fight. Almost 6 minutes long. Alright. Badge is held only by those who have reached the pinnacle. It signifies the triumph over a formidable being. Badges of victory can be attached to the bag, allowing one to remember the moment of victory anytime, anywhere. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. I like that. So you can basically just, like, decorate your bag is what it means. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Alright, end battle memories. Yep, go back to the hotel. Let's see. Do you feel a difference or is it the same as a new game? So, okay. Modified. I don't know if this is going to make sense to you. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Right now, I'm on New Game Plus 2, right? And I would say that, you know, for New Game Plus 2, if I were to fight Romeo, you know, as a part of the story, right? Just going through the game normally fighting Romeo, I think that it would be a lot easier, right? I think that the difficulty of Romeo in the story is much less difficult than what I just now fought. Because, essentially, fighting the highest difficulty, fighting difficulty 5, it was kind of like, you know, imagine that you are New Game plus 2, but your character upgrades, or okay. So imagine that you are New Game plus 2, except for that, like, the amount of damage that the boss deals and the amount of HP that the boss has is almost the exact same as if you were base game, like just regular New Game, and you had like none of the P organ upgrades that, you know, that you unlocked, right? Yeah, like all of the like defensive upgrades from the P organ that you unlocked, it does not really make difficulty 5 easier, is how I would say it. So yeah. But anyways, we tried out the battle memories. That was good. I really enjoyed that. And honestly, having the ability to, you know, yeah, having the ability to fight these old bosses over again and practice them is insanely good, right? Let's see. You can challenge a series of bosses consecutively with limited HP and items. You can freely choose a minimum of 3 bosses to challenge, but records will not be saved. The difficulty is limited to a selectable range based on what's been unlocked in battle memories for the chosen bosses. The most difficulty is fixed at Legendary Stalker. Okay. Alright. Yeah, so difficulty 3, okay. It's interesting that, like, you can basically choose only 3 bosses to fight in a row. Huh. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Alright. In any case, chat, in any case, let's go ahead and teleport. We're gonna go all the way to Cradle of the Gods, right? And we are gonna be fighting... We are officially gonna be fighting basically the very final boss fight of the entire game, because on this playthrough, we are not going to be fighting Nameless Puppet, is what's gonna be happening. Okay, let's see here. I think this boss has a resistance to electricity, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's see. Extreme modification amulet, that's fine. This guy is... He might be Carcass. I actually don't know. Human or Carcass. Hmm. Here we go, chat. Final boss fight.
Behold, this is Ergo. Is it not magnificent? Distilled immortality and a key that opens a world with no lies. A key that unlocks true evolution. Give thanks. Ergo is a gift from me, Simon Marnis, who will transgress even God. Bow down to your God, who will be born now! Show me everything you have, pop it up Geppetto.
Okay. Whoa, game lag. Okay. Okay.
If you want constant pain, I can oblige.
Okay.
Better yet, how about death? The next evolution is coming. A world of truth, not lies.
Too early. There we go. Lucky dodge. Good block. Too late.
Our blue barrier adores you so. Pathetic. Now die!
Okay. That attack is probably one of the worst.
If you want constant pain, I can oblige. Better yet, how about death? The next evolution is coming. A world of truth, not lies.
Okay. I hate that attack. timings are a bit off for this.
Our blue barrier adores you, sir. Pathetic. Now die!
Nice. Good. Unlucky. Still too late, or too early.
This is evolution. Behold, as I discard this fragile body. Witness me as I grasp the power of a true god.
It's all mine to grasp. Godlike power. Your time is running out.
Ooh, he got me. Okay.
one constant pain, I blind. Forget how about
Good. Good. Nice. Good. That's fine. Yep, that's fine. That's good. Come on, baby. Nice. Good. Let's go, baby. Eat shit, Simon Manus. Fuck yeah. Let's fucking go. New game +2 finish, chat. That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see.
So, it comes to this. The Blue Fairy, Sophia, decides the winner. Truly, I envy you. The puppet my Sophia keeps turning back time to save. Is it her sense of duty, or her contempt for me? Or does she truly care for you? I gave up predicting Sophia's actions long ago. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. Sophia, what have you done to her?
I liberated her from Arch Abbey. We're gonna lie.
I see the lies have gotten to you, puppet of Geppetto.
He knows.
I know how to read memories. Your clumsy lies are pointless. So let's try the truth. Knowing the truth of people's minds is a curse. I would not have been able to bear it if it weren't for Sophia. Her pure heart was a tonic for my pain. That's why I wanted her. I did. But I couldn't have her in the end. So I tried to use this power to hold her. Even if these hands never could. It's fine if I'm gone. But be warned. Watch out for Geppetto. Up there.
That's what's up, chat. That is what's up. Alright. Down we go, chat. Down the secret elevator. Although it's not really that secret, is it? Kind of out in the open. Yeah, that was a really good fight. And really clean finishing move. We definitely made a lot of mistakes throughout the fight overall.
Now him, he really scared me. A human becoming a god? Terrifying. But a puppet becoming a human? Now you have my attention. Suit yourself, but sounds fun to me. I wonder, what'll happen now? I sure don't know. But I do know one thing. You're stuck with me. And I'm stuck with you, pal. Wouldn't have it any other way.
I would. Anyways, as I was saying, we made a lot of mistakes during that, you know, particular fight, but we were patient. We managed to, you know, kind of like, basically keep our cool, stay calm, and, kind of just, you know, figure out how to continue surviving longer and longer and longer.
Huh? That's...
Yeah, so figuring it out how to survive longer and longer and longer, you know, until we could get the damage that we needed, right? That was a really, really clean fight. And the funny thing is, right, if you were to ask me, that fight just now versus difficulty 5 of Romeo, the King of Puppets, I definitely think that Romeo was a lot more, you know, a lot more challenging, a lot more of an obstacle. And the big reason why is because, you know, Romeo, for difficulty 5, right, every single hit that he would do, if you did not perfect guard it, you would take chip damage, right? And the amount of damage that he would take even when trying to, like, block the attacks, because he does, like, combos, right? He does multiple hits in a row. It will take out a large percentage of your health bar, if you are not careful, right? So it's very, very tricky, very dangerous, you know? Okay, level up. Let's see here. So, ooh, 1 level away. Oh man, that's tragic. You know what I'm gonna do, chat? Let's see here. So we're going to level up. We're going to add ergo. Okay, okay. Let's see here. I have a lot of vivids. Okay, okay. Hmm. Let's start with vivid, shall we? So we need basically 14,000 is what it looks like. So 9,000 right there. 12,000 right there. 15,000 right there. Let's do 12,000. And then let's do, where is it? 2,000. So we're gonna do 1. Oh my god, we are literally 300 away. Okay. Okay. I don't really want to, you know, I don't really want to, like, waste, any of my, you know, ergo crystals, right? So what we're gonna do is, let me see here. Let's just go and quickly fight an enemy. Let's see here. Let's just do Grand Exhibition. Sure. Yeah, but that was a really, really nice fight. I think the thing that I'm happiest about with killing Simon Manus in that manner is, you know, I don't know if you guys were paying attention, if you guys noticed, but at the very, very end, I managed to sneak in a Fable art attack to do the killing blow. And it was very, in my opinion, it was very, like, cinematic, and I was very happy about that, right? But let me see here. Go ahead and grab this weapon, and yeah, let's do this. Ooh, I have enough. Nice. Bye-bye. Now I have more than enough. Plenty. Plenty. Okay. So let's just go and we can teleport back to good old Geppetto. So teleport and go back here. Under the abyss. Alright. Now lying. I am going to check the wiki page very quickly, chat, because I think what I'm about to do is exactly what I need to do, but I want to be very careful just to, like, make sure I don't fuck up anything. So let me see here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Lies of P. Okay, so achievement guide. Um, 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 um. Find out about the last story of Geppetto. Achieve the real boy, they all lived happily ever after ending, and when prompted to proceed to New Game Plus, cancel and instead return to Hotel Krat. On the desk in Geppetto's upstairs study, read the letter to get the achievement. Okay, okay. Alright, that makes sense. That makes sense. Very cool. Very cool that we confirmed that, chat. Nice. Okay. So, chat, I want to put a disclaimer here, and I want to, you know, kind of like make sure that everyone understands, you know, basically my feelings about what we're about to do, right? So we are about to get an ending, a very particular ending in Lies of P, which is called the Real Boy ending. And for those of you who don't really know a lot about Lies of P, or maybe you don't have any knowledge whatsoever about the game, basically the way that I would describe it is that the Real Boy ending is the bad ending, right? It's the ending that, like, out of the different potential conclusions, it's the worst one. Because essentially, you are giving up your heart to your father, right? And he is going to take your heart and try to revive his dead son, which I am going to guess that the answer is that it's not going to work. I don't know. But yeah, basically you are kind of like killing yourself. You're sacrificing yourself in order to give your heart to your father, right? So it is by far the worst ending. Not at all, you know, one that I would recommend, right? However, in order to get the 100% Steam achievements, right, unlock every single achievement in the game, we need to unlock this ending, and we need to, you know, go through with whatever happens. Before we do anything, I'm actually going to check something very quickly, so let me see here. What if I click import? Nice. Okay, okay. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to rename it, and I'm going to go ahead and put a fitting title. To be completely honest, I don't really have to do this. However, I think it's not a bad thing to do. So to explain what I'm doing, chat, I kind of mentioned this a little bit during my previous live stream, but for those of you who were not there, who did not hear about this, so there is an application, there is a tool that someone built. It's called a save manager. And what it does is it will take your save data in the game, and it will kind of like export that data so that it is basically copied to a different location. And that way, you know, when you proceed further into the game, your save data will update as you progress further and further. However, you will have a copy of a previous save data file available in a different location, right? And that way, like, you know, this is especially useful and probably necessary for people who are doing challenge runs where you kind of have to play through the game without getting hit a single time or without dying a single time, right? You need these save states, one, to practice, you know, different areas, different bosses, and also you need these save files. Like, let's say, for example, you are doing a challenge run, and during the challenge run, you end up, you know, dying or getting hit, and you fail your challenge that you were trying to achieve, right? You need a previous save file to go back to in order to, like, reset, to restart, right? I mean, obviously, what you could do if you were really, like, I guess, like, if you were really hardcore in terms of a Souls player, you could just go and create a brand new profile, you know, in the game and start from zero, start from scratch. However, I feel like, one, that is a little bit tedious, you know, creating new multiple profiles over and over again. And also, you know, for example, there might be challenge runners where they're not doing a challenge of like, oh, you cannot level up, or you cannot upgrade your weapon, or you cannot use this, or you cannot use that, right? So some people, they don't want to reset their game all the way to the very, very beginning where they have nothing. They want to reset their game to a specific point where they're like, okay, this particular moment is the start of my challenge, and then I'm going to move from this point, right? Like, you know, to give you an example, let's say hypothetically, someone was doing a challenge, and they were like, okay, for this challenge, my character is going to be level 50, or level 40, or level, you know, 70, right? And they'd be like, okay, starting level 70 with these, you know, appropriate stats, these, you know, following weapons, this is where we're going to start the challenge, and we go from that moment onwards, right? So having a save manager, long story short, is extremely valuable. And I recently managed to basically get the save manager on my PC. It was actually a lot simpler than I imagined, because basically when I found the save manager, there were two things that I downloaded. Number one was I downloaded basically the it was like an application program, right? .exe. And then the other thing that I downloaded was the source code. And I thought that basically what I would need to do is I would need to go through the source code and kind of like, you know, I guess install the source code in a manner into my computer so that I could basically make sure that the save manager was running operational and that it was functioning as it should be, right? And so that's what I thought that I had to do. But then I actually figured out that the application file, the .exe file that I downloaded first, all I needed to do was open that up and then just like start creating save files from that particular application. And it was very just like simple, easy, and just like magical, right? Yeah, and so for those of you that don't know, the creator of the save manager, their username is I think it's Morithna or Morentha. Let me actually look it up here. I have it here. I can probably find it on the Discord. Let me see here. So yeah, Morethna. That's how you pronounce it. So their name is Morethna. They are the original creator of the save manager, and they are, I believe, the very first person to do a no-hit run for Lies of P, which is absolutely magnificent. It is very incredible, right? So yeah. Basically, you know, shout out to Morethna. Legendary human being. He actually, if you guys go and search up on YouTube, Morethna created a 2 hour long, like 2.5 hour, maybe 3 hour long video where he basically explains step by step, you know, small detail by small detail. He explains how to do a no-hit run in Lies of P. Like every single little thing that you need to do from the very beginning of the game to the very end of the game, achieving a no-hit run, he explains it. And it's a fantastic video. I watched it and I kind of like skimmed through the video. I didn't sit down and watch all 3 hours, but the information that he gave was so incredibly valuable. It was so good. So massive shout out to Morethna. Yeah. Anyways, so all that being said, I just now created a brand new save file, a brand new save state. I copied it over to the save manager, and that way I have this current moment that we're at right now, where we're right before Geppetto. I saved this moment so that if I want to, like, you know, basically go back and experience this part again, I can, assuming that hypothetically I want to, right? But yeah, let me see here. So let's go to, let me see. What do I want to do? We can do that. Do I want to do something else? Anything else? We'll do that. Okay. Nice. And then am I able to change the cosmetics of my character? I don't remember if I am. Stargazer. I think I would have to go back to the hotel, if I'm not mistaken, in order to do that. Which... Oh, wait, never mind. I can do it here. Let's see here. Trying to figure out what outfit do I want to wear. Wait, why move to equipment? Wait, what? Move to equipment. Move to equipment. Why is it that I can't change it here? That's kind of annoying. I don't like that. I don't like that. Anyways, chat. Anyways. Let's do this, shall we? Let's stop wasting time. Alright. As I mentioned, chat, this ending, I don't like it. I don't want to do it, but but I have to do it for the Steam achievements, so let's go through with it, okay?
I knew you could do it. We have all the ingredients we need. I dreamed of this day for so long. The moment you'd come back to life. You can be human again, by using that vast supply of ergo in the arm of God. I just need the final ingredient. The one that holds your memories and your lifespan. Your heart. If you give me your heart, all these trials and tribulations will be over. You have been a brilliant and a good boy. As your reward, I shall turn you into a real boy. Give me your heart, son.
I don't condone this, chat. I don't want to do it, but we have to.
Yes. You are a good boy till the very end. I believed in you. You are the greatest puppet I ever made. We can be happy now, thanks to you. Thank you. You are such a good boy. This finally feels like family. Thank you for returning, Carlo.
Is this truly the future you wanted?
Je t'ai rencontré simplement.
There we go, chat. There we go.
Pour chercher à me plaire. Je t'aime pourtant d'un amour ardent dont rien, je le sens, ne pourra me défaire. Tu
God, I love this game.
seras toujours.
There are things that I don't love about it, but overall I love this game. It's fucking awesome.
Je crois en toi comme en bonheur suprême. Je te fuis parfois, mais je reviens quand même. C'est plus faux que moi. Je t'aime.
Alright, chat.
I have a final report on the Krot experiment.
You certainly took your time, Paracelsus. Your findings?
I think we have a new brother. A new type of humanity, so to speak.
There are many forms of eternal life.
It's intriguing, and worth further observation.
Noted. And we'll have to get his arm back anyway.
I'm counting on it. Expect another report at the next meeting. Paracelsus returning. Ah, and when I return, I will find her. For sure. Another key of ours. Dorothy.
God, I cannot fucking wait for the sequel, chat. The sequel is gonna be banger. Alright, let's see here. Return to the hotel. We are not going to go into immediately into the new game +3. We are going to go back to the hotel, and we are going to head back up here to where good old Geppetto's desk was. It's interesting how it kind of like changes us back to you know, our default clothing, I think, whenever we were you know, kind of first brought into the game, right? Very interesting. All right. And now, there's an item here on the desk. Let's read it. Thank you for coming back to me, Carlo. I no longer bear a grudge. Now that you're back, my life is rosy. To make you happy, I plan to stabilize Krat. I suppose getting the puppets and the petrification disease under better control will turn the city back to normal. Remember, you have to be careful with your body. Even though you're an organism, you react to ergo. Maybe it's because that artifact was one of the materials. Still, you came back and that's what matters. No matter what others say, you're my son. No one will be in our way anymore. I will rebuild Krat for you. Until then, please stay safe in the hotel. Your father, who cares about you more than anyone. I don't like it, chat. I don't like it. Not a single bit. I do not like it. Where's our favorite kitty cat friend? Where's Mr. Spring at? I'm very curious to see how Spring will react, assuming that he is hanging around somewhere. Oh, Spring. Gatito. Where might you be? There you are. I see you. Hello, Spring. Aw, the big kitty. What a beautiful boy. Aren't you a good little boy? I like Spring. Spring is a great cat. Investigate. Yay, good job. I'm proud of you. Nicely done. Okay. So, let's rest here. Very nice. And then, let me, I'm gonna triple check something here, chat. We're gonna open up Steam, and we're gonna see, did we get it? Yes, we did, baby. Yes, we did. Hell yeah. Unfortunately, right, chat? Unfortunately, since the DLC for Lies of P came out, there are even more Steam achievements that have been added, and so we will need to unlock those, right, obviously. So unfortunately, you know, we are not at 100% completion right now, but for, like, the base game, you know, content, right, we completed everything that we needed to, so that is absolutely fantastic stuff. Yeah, really, really awesome stuff. Let me see here. Okay, I'm going to, okay, I'm gonna create, just, you know, as a backup, just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna go ahead and create, one more save file here. So I'm gonna rename this one as, end of New Game Plus 2, right before starting NG+3. And then we're gonna click OK. Nice, there we go. Okay, okay. Very, very nice. So we created a save file. That's what we like to see. Okay. Sweet. Awesome. Well, chat, my lovely chat. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to go ahead and exit to the main menu here. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the title screen. There we go. And, yeah, so we're gonna go back to the title screen here. So, I want to take a moment to discuss Lies of P with you guys. I want to take a moment to talk about, basically, obviously, you know, my experience with the game overall, and I'm also going to talk about, you know, what my plans are for the Overture DLC, right? Okay, so first and foremost, I'm probably going to be uploading this to YouTube. I think I will. So if anyone is watching this on YouTube, hello, how's it going? I hope you guys enjoyed the Lies of P playthrough content. Here are my final thoughts about Lies of P. Speaking about the base game only, you know, now that the DLC is out, I'm only speaking about the base game. Lies of P is an incredible video game. Absolutely incredible. I think that anyone out there who has a slight interest in Souls games or Souls-like games, you should try playing Lies of P. Especially if you are someone that enjoys the sort of, I would say like the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Lovecraftian sort of like horror type vibe, right? If you enjoy that type of genre, definitely try Lies of P. I will say that, you know, my #1 favorite game of all time is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I fucking love Sekiro. I think it is as close to perfect as humanly possible. Lies of P does not surpass Sekiro. It is not better than Sekiro. However, it is really, really good. And I would say that, like, you know, if I were to put Sekiro as #1, then it would make a lot of sense for me to put Lies of P as #2 or #3 when it comes to my rankings of, like, you know, Souls games and Souls-like games, right? I think that Sekiro is the pinnacle. It's at the top. And then Lies of P is either #2 or #3. Yeah, I think that, like, this game is very, very, very well polished. You know, you can tell that the creators of this game put a lot of thought and effort into creating this, and they put a lot of passion and love when they created this, right? This is such a beautiful game, right? I think that it is absolutely incredible. There are absolutely, you know, speaking of the base game, there are flaws with the game. There are things in the game that I don't really love, but the amount of amazing things that this game has, it basically completely overcomes any disadvantages, any flaws that this game has, right? Now, I think there's one very important thing that I do want to say, right? So, okay. What I'm about to say is mainly speaking to people who are, like, brand new Lies of P players who, you know, maybe you have a little bit of Souls experience, you know, you've maybe played a Dark Souls game or an Elden Ring or something like that, but maybe you have not really experienced Lies of P before. You know, you haven't really played the game. There's something quite significant to know about this game. And I think that knowing this piece of information, you will be able to decide whether you want to commit to this game and how much you want to commit to this game, right? So this is like a very, very, very minuscule spoiler. I'm not going to go into any details. I'm not going to mention any specifics, but I'm going to talk about something that is a little bit spoilery, right? So far, I have played the game. I've played the game 3 times. I've beaten it 3 times, right? New Game Plus 2. The way that I would describe Lies of P is that it is extremely punishing, right? When you play the game, you know, your very, very first playthrough of Lies of P, you will struggle, you will suffer, and you will feel a lot of pain. And I think that, you know, obviously upgrading things, upgrading your character, your weapon, your you know, abilities, right? All of that is very, very, very valuable, very beneficial. And it will help you to get stronger and to survive longer, to hopefully get better at Lies of P, right? Now, the interesting thing about Lies of P is that, you know, this is a very, very broad, very, like, generic statement that I'm going to make, and it may not make sense to you, you know, until you kind of experience it for yourself, right? As you play more of the game, right? So as you replay the game over again, going into New Game Plus 1, New Game Plus 2, New Game Plus 3, so on and so forth, right? As you continue to do more and more replays of the game, it gets actually easier. And I'm not talking about the fact that, like, oh, well, the more that you play the game, the more experience you have with the bosses, and the more mastery you have over the mechanics and over, you know, the gameplay and everything, right? I'm not only talking about that. This part is a very, very minuscule spoiler that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to try to keep it as secretive as possible, as vague as possible, to not spoiler you guys too much. Basically, there are upgrades in Lies of P that you can unlock, these things called P organ upgrades, and as you go into New Game Plus 1, as you go into New Game Plus 2, there are more available upgrades that you can choose, right? And there is at least one of those P organ upgrades. Probably there's like multiple of them. There's probably like 5 of them, or even more than 5 that I can, you know, list out if I really wanted to. But there is a minimum of one extremely valuable P organ upgrade that will basically make the game significantly easier than, you know, it was whenever you first experienced it. Especially if you take that particular P organ upgrade and you pair it with a very specific amulet in the game. There's an amulet that I would say is one of the most valuable amulets that you can ever have on you, right? The upgrade that I'm referring to in New Game Plus 2, I don't think that it is an exaggeration to say that it is game-changing. It is absolutely a magnificent upgrade. And so, the more that you play Lies of P, the easier it will get for you, because you are unlocking more and more upgrades, and you're making the game more and more manageable for your character, right? Now, while that is also true, you know, while you are getting stronger, while you are, you know, improving yourself as you replay it more and more, at the same time, you do also have to keep in mind that New Game Plus 1, New Game Plus 2, Plus 3, so on and so forth, the bosses, they hit you harder, and they have a lot more HP, so, you know, the difficulty does not stay stagnant. You know, it's not going to stay at the exact same level that it was on your base game playthrough. The reason why I kind of mention all of this, and why I think it's important to talk about, is that, you know, I feel like there might be some people out there, potentially, where they play through Lies of P for their very first time, going through the base game playthrough, and they experience the classic pain and suffering of a Souls-like game, right? And because of their experience on the base game, they feel frustrated, and they feel annoyed, and they're like, man, this game is hard, this game sucks, I hate it, because it's difficult, right? And I'm mainly talking about people who are more casual players, not really people who are like hardcore Souls enthusiasts, right? But just casual players. And, you know, I feel like some of those casual players, they might walk away from their very first playthrough of Lies of P feeling like the game is not good quality because of how much they suffered, how much pain they experienced, and how much, you know, they ended up dying throughout their playthrough, right? And, you know, because of that, I don't think it's really fair. I don't think it's a very, you know, fair and balanced situation to review Lies of P. I think that, you know, in my personal opinion, Lies of P is a game that you need to replay. At bare minimum, you need to replay it 1 time, if not 2 times, to get a full, you know, in-depth experience of the game and understand everything, and be able to, you know, sit back and look at the game from a more objective standpoint, and kind of like review it accordingly, rather than being like, ah, well, I got my butt kicked in base games so many times and I died so many times, and therefore this game is difficult, it sucks, I hate it, right? So yeah, I think Lies of P is a game where, like, if you play it, I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you replay the game at least once, if not twice, because the things that you will discover when you replay the game, the new kind of mechanisms, the new content that's added on subsequent playthroughs, some of it is, you know, without exaggeration, game-changing, and it will make the game feel a lot more manageable, a lot more, you know, a lot more perhaps forgiving, you know, in a way. And I think that, in my opinion, the more you play Lies of P, I think the more of a chance that you have of really enjoying the game and having fun and thinking that it is, you know, an amazing experience, right? So yeah, that's what I would say. I think, you know, if I had to give Lies of P a very arbitrary score, you know, a number that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, if I had to give it a review, I would probably say that Lies of P is a very solid 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10, but leaning more towards a 9 out of 10, right? It's not really like, you know, kind of 8 out of 10 leaning towards 7, right? It's not like that kind of 8 out of 10. I think it's a very, very, very solid video game. I think that, you know, it is probably... Yeah, I think Lies of P, you know, in terms of all games, you know, any genre, right? Not just Souls games, not just Souls-like games. I think that Lies of P is probably within my top 5 favorite. And when it comes to Souls games and Souls-like games, right? All of it, I think it's probably either my second or my third favorite Souls-like game, you know, out of the collection, the overall group of games available. So yeah, absolutely incredible, amazing game that I've the more I play it, the more that I grow to love it. It's an incredible experience, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that anyone and everyone play it. Absolutely go and do it, especially now that the DLC is out. It's gonna be such a blast. It's gonna be so hype. Yeah. Okay. So, chat. Now that I'm done reviewing Lies of P, the base game, right? Let's talk about basically what to expect in the future. Okay. So today was, I'm gonna say was because it's past midnight. Today was Friday, right? And I am technically, you know, I usually stream on Friday, Saturday, Sunday each weekend, right? So I believe, right, that there is a good chance, or at least fingers crossed, knock on wood. I really do hope that, you know, on Saturday, which is technically today, I really do hope that I will be able to stream, because you know, unfortunately, I'm looking at, you know, my my academic, you know, educational calendar here. I do have homework assignments that are due on Saturday, right? So I have things that I need to do on Saturday, which they take priority, and you know, they may possibly cause me to miss my stream and not be able to go live, right? So here is what I'm gonna say, okay? I'm gonna talk about basically my future live streams, not specifically about, like, you know, when they're going to happen, because that is always subject to change, right? You know, I might have to potentially reschedule some live streams, right? Depending on school garbage, right? So generally speaking, okay, this is what I'm thinking, okay? I think that maybe during my next stream that I do, whenever it ends up being, right? Maybe during my next stream, we will be able to start playing the Lies of P Overture DLC. I think that, you know, being able to, you know, start my next stream and immediately jump into the DLC content, which I'm extremely excited for, I'm extremely hyped about, that is going to be an amazing stream to have, right? So I think that is going to be my plan. I think that I'm going to aim for my next live stream to start playing the Overture DLC, right? The reason why I am kind of, you know, right now I'm kind of a little bit hesitating, and you know, I'm not 100% certain on what I want to do. So normally, when it comes to video games, I normally do not buy video games brand new, right? Whenever there's a brand new game released, I usually never buy it, you know, immediately with the retail, you know, full retail price that it's being sold for. Usually I try to wait until there's a sale. However, Lies of P is a game that I legitimately had a lot of fun, had a lot of enjoyment experiencing. I really have some very positive, you know, emotions tied to this game. And I think that the DLC is going to be such a fun experience, right? So I'm willing to invest the money into the DLC, even though I normally would wait a little bit for a sale. I don't think that there's going to be a sale on the DLC anytime soon. I think that the current price that it's at is going to be the best that it's going to be at for probably a very, very long time. Yeah. And, you know, I did not buy the DLC today, and I did not, you know, I specifically intentionally chose not to buy the DLC, you know, even like now after I've finished New Game Plus 2. I have not yet bought it, mainly just because, like, you know, for today's stream, I knew that we were going to be finishing the New Game Plus 2 playthrough, and I wanted to focus on that. I didn't want to get distracted by the DLC. I did not want to potentially stumble upon the DLC content without wanting to if I purchased the DLC, right, and add it to my game. So yeah, very likely what I'll do is that from starting, you know, after this live stream concludes, after it ends, from that point until the next time that I go live and stream, I will very likely end up purchasing the DLC and downloading it, right, and adding it to my Steam library. Now, I do want to kind of like take a moment to chat with you guys about, like, you know, things outside of Lies of P, right? So I mentioned this kind of at the beginning of today's stream, right? I mentioned this a little bit, and I'm gonna dive into some more details, right? So before the Lies of P DLC dropped, right, I was like taking some time to just sit and think of, like, okay, what game do I want to stream after Lies of P, right? And the more that I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? I think I want to give a second chance to Gotham Knights. I want to try playing it and try, you know, to see whether it's a good game or whether I truly do not enjoy it, right? So my plan was that after we finished the New Game Plus 2, after we finished our playthrough of Lies of P, I would move on and I would play Gotham Knights as my next game. Then, I wanted to share this with you guys because, you know, this is something that I am very thankful for, I'm very grateful for, and, you know, I'm also, you know, now that I have done this, right, this particular thing, I am now kind of motivated, right? And to explain what I mean, I have a lot of games in my Steam library that I have not yet played and that I want to play, whether it's on stream, whether it's off stream, right? And having a lot of various different choices, when you're spoiled for choice, it can make it a little bit difficult to decide, to, you know, pick something and stick with it and to, you know, kind of, I guess, to not hesitate, not doubt, not flip-flop and try to choose something different, right? So being indecisive is not really something that I wanted to experience, especially not for a long time. So what I ended up doing is I ended up reaching out to a very, very good, you know, friend of mine. I'll call him a friend, but he is a fellow Twitch streamer, a small streamer by the name of Shockphobia 9000, right? And I reached out to Shock, and I basically, you know, asked him, I was like, hey, Shock, I have these games on my list that I want to play eventually at some point. And I was like, give me your thoughts, give me your opinion on what order I should play the games, right? So I gave Shock 4 games, 4 titles that I wanted him to order. The first one is The Messenger, right? It is, I believe, a Metroidvania game, or maybe a roguelike game, maybe a mixture of the two. So we have The Messenger, we have 9 Souls, we have Ender Lilies, and we have Katana Zero, right? Those are the 4 games that I asked Shock about. And the reason I asked Shock about these 4 games is because he has played all 4 of those games. He has experienced them. And so I knew that whatever advice that he gave me, I could trust it, right? So I asked him the question, and, you know, thankfully, I'm very grateful to Shock. You know, I am, yeah, very, very thankful that he was able to help me out and able to, you know, give me some ideas. Shock replied to me, and he gave me you know, his recommendation. And basically, his recommendation is number 1, Katana Zero. Number 2, I believe he said, let me pull it up here. I'm gonna make sure that I'm not misspeaking. Where is it? Okay, so number 1, Katana Zero. Number 2, Ender Lilies. Number 3, The Messenger. And number 4, Nine Souls. Right? So that's the order that he gave me, where he was like, play these games in this particular order, and he said that, you know, he thinks I will have a very, very fun time, very enjoyable time with those games, right? So, you know, because Shock was, you know, very, very thoughtful, and he was willing to give his suggestion, you know, for my gaming experience, right? I decided that I was going to go ahead and listen to Shock. I was going to do what he said, what he recommended. So basically, to summarize, my game plan was that we would finish the Lies of P New Game Plus through, right? New Game Plus 2 would be finished. And then, you know, this is, you know, hypothetically in the situation that the DLC did not come out yet. After we finish New Game Plus 2 of Lies of P, what we would do is we would go and play Gotham Knights. And if I am having fun, if I'm not hating the experience, I will continue playing Gotham Knights, and I will play it from the beginning to the very end, right? Then, after Gotham Knights, right, whether I finish Gotham Knights or whether I uninstall it, the next game that I was going to play was Katana Zero. And that was, you know, my master plan for my streams. Yeah, and you know, I actually, so, for today's stream specifically, right, where we fought Simon Menace, right, and we beat the game, for today's stream, I was actually kind of thinking to myself that what I might potentially do is I might beat Simon Menace, and then I might, you know, play a little bit of Sekiro, and kind of just, like, chillax, vibe, and dive back into a game that I absolutely love, that I need to practice and relearn how to, you know, how to, like, basically play the game properly, mastering the mechanics and everything, right? So yeah, today's stream, hypothetically, if the DLC had not released, it was going to be me finishing New Game Plus 2, then hopping over, doing a little bit of like some very chill, casual Sekiro gameplay for fun, and then what I was probably going to do is that, you know, tomorrow on Saturday, assuming that I was going to be streaming, right, I would go ahead and load up Gotham Knights, and I would play some Gotham Knights on stream. But now that the, you know, Overture DLC is out, I think it's a perfect time to basically dive on into the brand new DLC content and experience what new stuff that there is. You know, one of the big reasons why I want to, you know, play the Overture DLC as soon as possible is because, you know, since I am not someone that normally buys video games right when they drop, right when they release, there are a lot of situations where in the past I have really wanted to play a video game, but I have not been able to buy the video game because it's too expensive, and I end up getting spoiled on some content or a lot of content in the game that I want to eventually play. And, you know, there's a part of me where I don't particularly hate the fact that I, you know, see videos and live streams of the cool game that I want to play. Like, I'm not someone where, like, okay, if I see a spoiler, then that means I will never, ever, ever play the game. That's not, you know, the type of person I am. But, you know, while I am not someone that is 100% completely, thoroughly against spoilers, I still do feel some disappointment whenever I do get spoiled on some stuff about a game, right? And so, you know, seeing as this Overture DLC is something that I'm extremely excited for, extremely hyped about, and I really, really, really want to play the game, and I want to experience the new content, I think it's going to be a rare situation where, you know, I kind of just basically I don't act in the same manner that I have in the past, and I go ahead and be like, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy the DLC, and I'm gonna play the DLC on my own, you know, experiencing everything with my own eyes, and you know, experiencing everything on my own account without watching other people play it first, right? Yeah. So I think that's what we're gonna do. I think that is the overall game plan for, you know, future live streams. And yeah, it's kind of funny. I feel like the more streams that I do, especially recently, I feel like I've now kind of become sort of like a fake Lies of P only streamer, where like this is the only game that I ever play, since we've been, you know, experiencing this game over and over again for the past, like, couple of months or whatever, however long that it's been. But I do want to promise you guys, at some point in the future, we will eventually move on. We will eventually get to new games, other games that we have never played before. So I be patient, stay tuned. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, chat, Saturday, I really, really do want to stream. I want to go live, but the assignments that I have, one of the assignments that I have to do is an accounting quiz, and every time that I have an accounting quiz, it makes me want to jump off of a cliff in Minecraft. I want to yeet myself off of a Minecraft cliff so quickly. And so there is a very, very real possibility that I will not be able to stream on Saturday. And what I will do is I will keep you guys updated using the Twitch story. So I'll upload a very short Twitch story and say like, hey guys, I am either able to stream or I'm not able to stream, you know, on Saturday, right? Yeah. So that's what I'll do. And, you know, hopefully I will, yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys on Saturday. If I don't, then the next day that I will see you guys is going to be on Sunday for a brand new stream. And, we will be, I think that is when we're officially going to be tackling the Overture DLC. We're going to dive in and get our very, very first, you know, very first experience of what brand new content that there is to offer.